the one, the only, Ben Sion. Good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube Daily Double. So continuing with Beitzah. We're nearing the end of Beitzah. Perak Hey, Mishnayos Gimel and Dal today. Mishnah Gimel says, let's get the page. Mishnah Gimel. Behema Kalim Karagla Abaylam. Behema and Kalim. This is, for some reason, Mesechus Beitzah ends off mostly talking about Tchumen. If you learn Mesechus Eruvin, you remember that there's a concept of Tchum on Shabbos. You can't walk more than 2,000 amos outside your city limits unless you made Erev Tchumen, which could extend it possibly another 2,000 amos to one direction. What about, objects that you own, animals that you own, utensils, right? They have their own shvisa. Besides, you have your own shvisa. You have to stay in your city within the 2,000 amos boundary out of the city. Your objects that you own and your animals normally would be allowed to be taken by you or by someone else only until where your shvisa is, where you are. However, that's under normal circumstances, your behema or kalim can be taken by other people based on where you are at Ben Hashmashos on Friday night. However, if you give it over to your son, even if you give it to your son, or do you give it to a shepherd, right? It's considered to be like yours because you never gave over possession. The Roa has to give it back to you anytime he wants, anytime you want it. The son also, they don't have no control over it. Let's say you have utensils. This is talking about a person who passes away. Father passes away. He's over an estate. He has numerous sons. They haven't divided up the estate yet. So let's say he has a watch or something. The father had a watch. Patek Philippe watch, and one of the sons really likes Patek Philippe watches, so he's the one watching it. He's the one in control of it, even though they haven't divided the estate yet. So it goes by his shvita. The watch can be taken only as far as where he is situated. Things that are shared by all the brothers. You have to factor in everyone's shvisa. So therefore, for example, if one brother made an eruv to the east 2,000 amos, another brother made an eruv to the west 2,000 amos, you can't leave the city limits at all in either direction because you have to factor in both eruvei tchumen. Let's say you borrow a cleave from your friend on erev yontiv. The object can be moved like the person who borrowed it because he was in control of it. Even though he doesn't own it, a shol does not own the object, right? But he has reshus, or he has the control over it as long as he borrows it. So at Ben Hashmashos on Friday night, he had control over it. So therefore, it goes like his tchum. B'yom tov, however, he borrows on Yom Tov, b'ragla mashal, then it goes at the person at Ben Hashmashos that belong to the person, the lender. Let's say a woman borrowed on Shabbos. She borrowed some spices or water or salt she wanted to put in her bread. She wanted to make a dough, right? This is on Yantiv. Yantiv also tchumen apply, right? You're allowed to bake on Yantiv. So since, right, the dough, the flour belongs to the woman, but she borrowed the other ingredients, therefore you have to factor in both people. And Ramachmir, for the tchumen, Rabbi Yehuda says if you borrow water, that is exempt because water is, basically very available. It's not something very special. So therefore, we would say batal borov. We say that the water is batal to most of the isa, to most of the dough, and the dough goes based on the tchum of the person who's making the dough. We don't factor in the tchum of the person who gave the woman the water. That's the conclusion of today's share. Stay tuned for Iyam Mitzion, where I discuss exactly what's going on over here. Why is it that even if you don't own something, you borrow something, Mishnah Daled, it goes like your ragla. I'll explain the idea of tchumen vis-a-vis your objects, your possessions, a little greater. And Iyam Mitzion coming up next.